Welcome to Microsoft Word 2010. Microsoft Word has changed quite a bit. If you're going from 2003 to 2010, you'll notice quite a few differences. I have a document open in front of me. The document name still appears at the top, and you have multiple tabs that appear throughout. First thing I'd like to show you is something that was buried in the previous version. That's called styles. When you use styles, there's many different reasons for using it, but if I was to highlight a title here, I can make this a heading 1, so it now recognizes that as being a heading 1. I can also highlight the rest of this that's here and apply multiple styles to it. When you use styles, what you're actually doing is you are telling the computer what type of text that it is. Body text, titles, headings. I'll keep this as normal text. You'll notice that it formats it, changes the size. Again, there's multiple things that it does. I'll make this a heading 1. I'll make this normal text. And I'll make this a heading 1 as well. Now, heading 1 actually means that it's the first level. It doesn't mean that it's the first heading. It just means that it's the first set or the first level of headings. I'll make this normal as well. And I'll make this one a heading 1. And I'll make this normal text. And this is a heading 1 as well. And this will be normal text. And I'll do this one last. Perfect. So the idea is that I've gone through the entire document and have told the document exactly what type of text this is, whether it's a heading, body text, or in this case normal. Now what I can do is, if I do not like exactly what I've done here with this heading, I can then right-click on heading 1 and I can modify it. When I click on modify, I can not only modify the name, but I can also change the font as well as the color. If I click the pull-down arrow, I can change the font to Arial. I can change the size so it's a little bit bigger, size 16. And I can also change the color as well. I'll make it something a little more dramatic. I'll choose this red accent that's here. More of a burgundy, really. When I click OK, instead of having to select every single one of my headings, it's now changed every single one of my headings. They've all changed. That's one reason to use styles. I can then change the styles to elegant, fancy, formal, manuscript, and you can develop and create your own styles as well, your own style sets. I can then change the colors. I can change the fonts. And what this does for us is it creates a universal font for the entire document. You can also create your own themed fonts as well, so that documents coming out of an organization all look the same. Another key feature is with your styles is the ability to use something called the navigation pane. Up top, I have a view button that's here. I'll click on view. And I have a print layout view, full screen. I've checked off my ruler, so that's something I use quite often. My grid lines. Here's this navigation pane though. When I check off the navigation pane, all of my headings show up on the left-hand side. It's actually clickable. You can click on these. When I click on one heading, it takes me there. Click on another heading, it takes me there. So this allows me to click on multiple headings at multiple times. I also have a little check mark for grid lines, so I can see grid lines. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. I have 1-page and 2-page views, so this way I can basically change to multiple views very, very quickly, all using view. Let me head back to home. Actually, I'll go back to view and I'll take off my grid lines. I'll head back to home. That was using styles. The other reason for using styles is this thing called references. When I click on references, there is a button for the table of contents. If I click on my table of contents, I can then easily insert an automatic table of contents. Now, there's a table of contents, and I didn't have to build it. As different things change and go on to different pages, you will notice that the numbers will change when the table is updated. And there's quite a few other things that you can do with this as well now. I'll head back to home. Some of the other quick features is things like insert. Insert's really changed. I have the ability to insert different cover pages. There's multiple cover pages. The cover pages are quite intelligent. All I have to do is select one, and it realizes that it's a cover page that needs to go at the beginning of the document, and it does. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can actually see this. The cover pages can be customized. You can change the color, many different things. Also inside Insert, you have the ability to insert tables, and it draws the table. You also have different quick tables for things like a calendar, cross-tabulation, matrix, tabular list. Microsoft announced this past year that they would like to include more features that remind people of Adobe products. If I head to Insert, I insert a photograph. I'll choose a random photograph here that I have, and I'll insert it. When I insert the photograph, you'll now notice that you get picture tools. With picture tools, you have the ability to remove the background with a click of a button. You also have different corrections that you can do to the photograph to sharpen the photograph up or to soften the photograph. If you pay attention to the orange peel, it gets sharper and sharper. You can change the brightness and the contrast. You can also change the color to different saturations, recolor it, sepatones. There are different artistic effects that you can apply as well. So you can make it look hand-drawn or grainy film, mosaic. There's so many different effects that you can use now. You also have different picture styles. These are like frames. If I hover over top, these are some of the different frames that you can use. If you know how to use Photoshop, many of this stuff is not really all that exciting. You already know how to do it. If you don't know how to use Photoshop, some of the stuff is exciting and interesting to play with. And as you can tell, I'm just doing all of this with a click of a button. You can change the border, wrap the text, change the position. When I work with pictures, I usually put the pictures in front of the text. And then I can move it wherever I want. I'll head back to Insert. You have many other things, like SmartArt, the ability to insert many different types of graphics, to show a list or a process. These are very creative ways of showing a list or showing a process without actually having to draw these things. I can also do charts. I have the ability to do screenshots, hyperlinks, and bookmarks. Your headers and footers have really changed. The headers and footers actually look quite nice. Very, very well done, as you can see. Very, very different than before. Once I choose a header or footer, then I can add different things like a page number, date and time, and I can go to the footer, as well as have different types of headers and footers. I'll close that off, and I'll get out of there. Page layout. Not much has changed for page layout. I can apply different themes. You generally see the themes really take over, though, when you start to work with some of the other types of graphics. I can change the fonts, the colors, everything. You now have a button for watermarks, as well as a button to change the page color. References we took a quick look at, but this is where you find your table of contents. You can insert footnotes and endnotes, citations. I can insert captions on photographs like this one. So I can label it Figure 1, and then beneath the photograph, it's now labeled Figure 1. Your mail merge is here. Your mail merge wizard is now here. If you click on Start Mail Merge, you'll notice that the step-by-step wizard now sits at the bottom of this menu. If I click onto the wizard, you'll notice that the wizard really hasn't changed at all. Letters, email messages, envelopes, labels. It's still a 6-step wizard, so you click through all 6 steps, and again, that really hasn't changed much. I'll close off Mail Merge. I'll also close my navigation pane as well. I have a review button. This is where you find your spell check. Your research button allows you to use multiple research books. You've got Bing, a dictionary, a thesaurus. You do have a translator. You can also change the language that you're typing in. Track changes is found here now. However, I do have to point something out. At the very, very bottom of your word screen, it shows me the number of pages, the words, the dictionary that I'm using, and the fact that track changes is off. To see some of these features, you need to find a blank area on the bar at the bottom and right-click. When you right-click, you have all these different features available. I've turned on track changes. I've also turned on my cap locks because I like to see that. The other thing that I usually turn on is my overtype. I constantly accidentally hit my insert button and then end up overtyping things. Your views are found here at the bottom. This is also how you zoom in and zoom out. Speaking of views, your last tab is View. You have a print layout, full screen reading, outline and draft. You can zoom in and zoom out, and there's multiple views that are here. You now have the ability to view documents side by side, as well as synchronized scrolling and resetting your Windows position. Macros are kept here too, so I can view and record macros. Your print preview for all of the programs is very interesting. When you go to File, inside File is Print. When I click on Print, this is where your print preview is found. This is called the Backstage. The Backstage is where you find many different things that you might have been looking for with the program. I have info here, which tells me all the information about the document. Permissions, checking for issues, as well as managing different versions. Shows me my recent documents. When I click on New, I see my available templates, as well as templates that I can download from Microsoft Online. When I go to Print, these are all my print settings. The printer that I'm using, the number of copies, and this is my print preview. I also have Save and Send, which allows me to save and send the document in many different ways. I can send it as PDFs, I can send it as an attachment, and XPS is Microsoft's version of a PDF. I can save it to the web, SharePoint, publish it as a blog. I can even change the file type. You don't have as many file types in here as you did before. They have dropped different file types that aren't really as common as they used to be. You can also just create a PDF and an XPS document. However, keep in mind that the accessibility options in Microsoft PDFs are very different than the accessibility options in an Adobe PDF. Your program options are found when you go to File and you click on Options. When I click on Options, these are all the common options that many of the products have. I'll hit Cancel and I'll get out of here. This has been Microsoft Word 2010.